Well, it's Uncommon Fossil, and today I want to talk about another Pokemon that attacks for no energy, and no, it's not cast form. Rather, today taking a look at Hisuian Arcanine. This is a Stage 1 fighting Pokemon, 130 HP, retreat cost of 2, and it has 2 attacks. The second attack is 3 energy, fighting colors. Sharp Fang does 100, but we're not going to use that because we don't play any energy in the deck, and that's not the better attack on this Pokemon. Rather, it's very vulnerable for no energy at all. It does 10 damage, but then if you have no cards in your hand, this attack does 150 more. So it does 160 damage on stage 1 for no energy, but you have to make sure you have no cards in hand. So obviously you have a deck that's set up to make that happen. So it's a 4/4 Hisuian Arcanine line. You know, the 4 Hisuian Growlithe. We can attack with the basic also. You flip a coin. If heads during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks. So, so that's got a place too in the deck. Just to get, because we're, to help set up things, I put one Mimikyu in, right, with safeguard ability. It's immune to damage from attacks from EXs and Vs. And obviously that's the majority of Pokemon that you're going to be attacked by. Obviously there's ways around that. Plus, there's single prize Pokemon also, but it can slow your opponent down for a turn or two while we're setting up because the deck doesn't have an engine. We don't play a lot of supporters because we have to be careful. We got to get down to that 0-card hand. So Mimikyu to buy a turn or two, particularly early on, is quite useful. Then we play Radiant Venusaur, which shouldn't be a surprise to you because of its Sunny Bloom ability. At the end of your turn, after you attack, you may use this ability and draw until you have 4 cards in hand. So if you take up prizes, let's say you knock out an EX, you draw those 2 prizes, then with Sunny Bloom, you would draw 2 more to 4 cards in hand. That's assuming, of course, you had no cards to start with. If you don't take any prizes with an empty hand, you draw 4 cards. So it's very useful because we do need to have more than 1 card in hand when our turn starts, usually to make things happen. And then 1 Manaphy because we do want to protect the bench with this deck. So I think the Manaphy is helpful. Obviously, a lot of times we don't want it in play. So there's no energy to look at. So there we go, no energy in deck. And then the trainers really have a lot of item cards that we can play and just fail on if we choose to, right? That way we're guaranteed a lot of cards we know we can just get rid of out of our hand whenever we wish to. So 2 Hisuian Heavy Ball, look at your prize cards and reveal the basic Pokemon you find there, put it into your hand. So it's useful. Obviously, we want to get the Radiant Pokemon into our hand and on the bench, or, just see some other card. And again, items are great for this deck. We play just a couple supporters. The one we play 4 of is Peony. I don't play it in a lot of decks, but I do enjoy it. What you do is you discard your hand and you search for deck for up to 2 trainer cards, reveal them, put them into your hand. We can fail it if Peony is the last card in hand. Sometimes we'll want to do that later in the game, but then we can grab 2 trainers. Now, I really do wish Evo Incense was in format. It is not. So that's a downer because you want to be able to guarantee to get the stage 1, and that's not easy, unfortunately. There's no guarantee to that because the main search for evolutions is Ultra Ball, but you have to discard 2 cards to get it, so we'd have to draw to 3 cards, which we don't do. So Peony is really key, though. We have to be careful with what we grab with it. 1 Grant, your fighting Pokemon do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon, which is useful. So there are times I found that damage does take the knockout that I need, but then also it has kind of what I'll say a quote ability, although supporters don't have abilities as such. But what it says is during your turn, if this Grant is in your discard pile, you may discard 2 cards, accept any Grant from your hand. If you do, put this Grant into your hand. So we can discard 2, get a Grant in hand. And then, of course, we'd want to either play the Grant down or discard it with something else. So it's useful to thin the hand. It's also useful to get the damage with. For Pokégear, we end up failing it an awful lot because we're only playing a total of 6 supporters in deck. But obviously, we do want to be able to get Peony as much as possible. And again, we can play it at will. one Pal Pad. It might be nice to get a second Pal Pad, especially Recover Boss, but that's what I have room for in the deck right now. I play a lot of 4-ofs with a deck like this because you just don't have any control over what you're getting for the most part, so you really need to draw into the cards you want. So I play a lot of 4-ofs. 4 Nest Ball, 4 Capturing Aroma. This, when you play Peony, to me, a lot of times you want to grab 2 Capturing Aromas. You flip a coin, so it's 50-50, whether it's an evolution or a basic. So if you get 2 Capturing Aromas, most of the time you will get your stage 1, but it's certainly not guaranteed. So it's not ideal, but that's kind of the best thing we have. Play 4 Cram-o-matic. It lets us search for any one card. If we hit heads, right, you discard an item along with crit. And when we play the Cram-o-matic, so it thins the hand down, and it also is a good draw. It's part of our draw engine, quite frankly, in deck like this, because we really don't have one, right? 1 Artazon. I just play 2 stadiums. This is one of them. Search your deck for a basic Pokemon. Doesn't have a rule box. Put it onto your bench. Could play more of this. But if we only play one of a stadium, then it gives us the opportunity to play it down, right? You can't bump an Artazon with another Artazon. So if you had 2 of them, you might get stuck with one in hand. So by only playing one of a stadium, it helps avoid getting cards stuck in hand. 1 boss, obviously very important, but of course we can't play it getting it the turn we need it is not reliable. So what you could consider cutting it, because it's not that often that you get it on the turn you want. But there it is. 1 Old Cemetery, another stadium. You can play it down, and then whenever a player attaches energy from their hand to a non-psychic Pokemon, put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. We're, of course, never attaching energy, so it helps so we don't take damage. So if we can hurt our opponents in some games, it is useful. And again, a playable card. 4 Great Ball. This is another good Pokemon search. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. Put a Pokemon there into hand, so again, can play it whenever we want, and it is useful. 3 Super Rods. You can only play this if a Pokemon or energy's in the discard pile. So you have to be careful. If you had two Super Rods and you had, say, 2 Pokemon in the discard pile, that you need to get rid of both Super Rods. You play a Super Rod, put 1 Pokemon back, then play the second Super Rod, put the other Pokemon back. Just a little bit of how these things work, because you can play a card like Great Ball or Ultra Ball that searches for your card in deck, even if you know you don't have that card in deck. But because what's in the deck is private information, okay? But a card like Super Rod that's searching from your discard pile, the discard pile is public information, therefore your people know whether you have any Pokemon or energy in it. So if you don't have anything that card could search for, I believe by rule you can't play that card. 3 Defiance Bands do 30 more damage behind the prizes, which we can be, and so the damage can help. And also, again, a card we can play that's in our hand whenever we want. 4 Ultra Ball, as you expect to get the stage 1s, discard cards. 4 switches. At times I have run out of switch with opponents gusting up, and it's not a good feeling. Plus with Peony, you're discarding cards at a rapid pace. And then 4 Cross Switcher. This is another card. Cross Switcher is nice with Peony because Peony searches for any 2 trainers. You can make those trainers 2 Cross Switchers, and then you gust your opponent and you switch your own Pokemon. And so it's a nice option to have. I like the 4 Cross Switchers with the 4 Peonies. So that's the deck that I have. Let's take a look on jump in the ladder and see how the deck performs for us. All right, so things get going here. Opponents calling the coin flip. Evolution Pokemon, we definitely would like to go first if we can, but we'll see what happens here. If we have to go second, then tossing out that Mimikyu to potentially stall our opponent for a couple turns is very useful. We'll see what we have, what we're up against. We will see for sure. So mulligans, we take a good amount of mulligans with this deck. We play 4. I think I'm playing 5, 6, 7 basic Pokemon in my deck. So a Giratina, probably Giratina Lost Zone deck. The Lost Zone obviously isn't good with our Mimikyu. Let's see, so they know what we're playing. Okay, well, I'm going to start Mimikyu. That makes life easy. No decision to make there. I imagine, I mean, unless it's Arceus Giratina, but it probably is Lost Zone Giratina. That's what I'm expecting. But we will find out soon. Squawkabilly, okay, which is a nice Pokemon. They started with that, so they get to use that ability this turn. Assuming they want to discard the rest of the cards from hand. We'll see what they get in play here. So Barrel. Okay, so it's not a Lost Zone deck, I would think. Okay, Regidrago. Okay. So the Mimikyu will be helpful to get early on, I would think. Right? They probably play Duraludon on VMAX. That hits through abilities, which won't be great. Now they have Radiant Greninja in deck. They probably don't play the energy for it, though. So I'm not going to probably bench my Manaphy. I probably don't need to protect my bench from them. If I see any water energy indications that they may have it, then of course I'd rethink things, but I doubt they do. All right. So just checking out the rarity of their cards too. They like the hollow or whatever. And I like the patterns, the way it shows up on some of these cards. I do like that, I will say. The hollow pattern, the things that move I don't like as much. I do like those ghost images personally. All right, so starting to get things going. Great Ball. I'll grab the Manaphy. I don't really want to play it down, but thinning the deck out does help. It's not a great turn, not a great start, but we will see. So getting an evolution Pokemon. I'm guaranteed to get a basic. I don't know that I want to grab another stage 1, though, because if I draw into... I think I want to fail this one, because if I get Peony, I do want to... All right. I would have liked to get down something else, but I will just sit here. If they play Rope, they'll knock out my... I could have played Manaphy just to protect against the Rope play. That was an option. I chose not to do it. I didn't fully think that one through. So they hit heads, which is what they want, because they need to get into their stage 2. It's a Regidrago V-Star deck, which I like that. It's a box deck. It copies the attacks of other dragon Pokemon that are in the discard, which is nice. The energy cost is with Regidrago. It's different than the old Mewtwo and Mew. Mewtwo and Mew, you copy or a basic like Ditto, which I've used too, where you copy the attack of a card in the discard, but you need the energy of the Pokemon's attack you're copying. Here, Regidrago V-Stars, attack cost is always grass, fire, and you can use any Pokemon from the discard pile. So that's good. So they weren't. So they didn't get a V-Star. Kind of, what is that? Oh, Superior Energy Retrieval. Okay. All right, so they got the fancy cards there. They've got this deck pretty blinged out. So they got Gardenia's Vigor. Let's see if they attaching 2, so they can attack if they switch. So if they play Rope, I'll be sad. So that it's gone pretty well for them. They're able to get the energies in hand with Gardenia's Vigor. Superior Energy Retrieval, I think, guaranteed that for them. So things went well. They sequenced well. Obviously, give them credit for sequencing, give them credit for a good build of their deck. So they're going to probably retreat. Oh, no, they attack, but they can accelerate energies. So that's quite nice for them also. So I can take prizes here. I assume I want to take prizes here, right? Oh, I don't take the prizes there because he's resistant, so that's stinky. All right, so maybe then... So I'm going to Peony, And I'm not going to attack this turn. So I get 2 trainers. All right, what's the do I need, all right, I don't need to, okay. I think I want to get, let's see, I think I want 2 Nest Balls. Yeah, Nest Ball and Nest Ball, because then I'm going to end my turn. So I want to get a Growlithe down, so if they knock out my Arcanine, I can attack. Want to get the Venusaur. I don't have to attack to utilize that ability, so it's just after my turn ends, it kicks in. So end turn, Sunny Bloom, draw to 4. Okay. Oh, that's a nice set of cards too. I don't believe there's anything with Heavy Ball that I need to get. I think I have all the basics in my deck or the Manaphy in the discard pile, which I don't want anyway. So do they have Duraludon? Because they're going to blow me up with Duraludon, which they don't have Duraludon to attack with, right? They obviously can knock me out with Star Requiem on Giratina V-Star, but they need 10 cards in the Lost Zone, and I don't think that's going to happen. So they got Barrel down. That's nice. Path to the Peak. So that's unfortunate because now I can't draw with Radiant Venusaur. So that is a good play for them. And they already used their V-Star power. So that's quite nice on their end. So they get a basic, another Regidrago V down. I don't know if they'll play it or not. Probably not. All right. You know, this could be a game that I ride the Mimikyu, right? That part of it is I have the Mimikyu to help get things set up. The fact is I cannot knock out that Mimikyu. I mean, the Squawk ability with one-shotting it. So I think I kind of want to sit. Okay, so they can one-shot him with the barrel, and that's what they're starting to do here, I think. So I can boss. So let me cram. If I can boss up the barrel, I think I'd like to. Oh, I do. I mean, I can, but I want to be able to take the knockout, which means I need to get to a 0-card hand also. So I failed there. So that's not great. So Peony. I could get a stadium and bump their stadium. That's possible too. Let me think about this. What's my stadium situation? I have both stadiums here. That's a tricky one. Okay, so get him onto the bench. I think I bumped the stadium. Or do I want to wait? I think I'm going to... I kind of don't like losing. Let's see, do I have Pal Pad? I do not have Pal Pad. Okay, so I want to... Oh, no, I silly me. I can cross switcher, right? I can cross switcher. I was very dumb there. Sorry. You were probably thinking ahead. What's wrong with this guy? You just cross switcher. You take out the barrel. And now that's 320 because they're weak to me. But I had to get to a 0-card hand. Yes, it would have doubled the 10, but obviously that just gets to 20. So now, can they get something to knock out Mimikyu? Right. I've taken away their big engine piece, which is good. I didn't bump Path, so I didn't draw any cards at the end of the turn. So I'm down to 1 card. 200 there, which is fine. They don't have Duraludon, so my Mimikyu's safe at the moment. Obviously, they just need to get a Duraludon in the discard pile, of course, and then it all changes. All right, I think I could get down to 0 cards in hand if I wish to. I think I'll just end turn. I could have played the Super Rod, would have put 2 more Pokemons in deck. I wouldn't have put the Manaphy because I don't want that. I would like to have gotten a Stage 1, of course, and I could have used the Super Rod to put 1 more Stage 1 in the deck, which would have increased the odds. So let's see what they do. So they don't have a lot of cards in hand, so it's possible, just possible I deck them out. I don't know. I wouldn't mind bumping Path. Bumping Path helps them draw more cards, but they you know, I'm a single prize deck. They're only taking 1 prize at a time. I don't think they have a multi-prize attacker. Till they can get Duraludon in the deck, they have a problem. All right, I will play Old Cemetery because I'm okay with that. And I'm just going to end turn. I will now draw 3 more cards. So that's good for me. Okay, Grant is nice. I now have access. That's nice. I do have access to Stage 1. So I probably want to use that. There's some different ways to look at it. All right, they're really struggling here. I guess Duraludon is prized. All right, I like that. Do I want to get a basic? There is no basic anyway. Okay, that's fine. I'll play him down. And I will... Do I want to Ultra Ball this turn? I think I do. Do I believe I play 2 Super Rods in this list. So I will grab and... Yep. Well, do I? Let me see. Sorry, that was... I do have play another Super Rod, so that's good too. Get another Arcanine. Play him down. End turn. Draw my 4 cards. All right, this is going very, very nicely. So I can attack next turn if I wanted to. I don't think I want to. Boss's order, so they're going to take a knockout, which makes sense. I want to attack, right? Because obviously at some point, see, because now they could draw that Duraludon VMAX, right? I assume they play 1 Duraludon VMAX and it's probably in the prizes. So I need to start getting damage going. It's real simple, right? So I can cram, switch. Maybe I don't even want the cram, do I? So if I play this, I can discard 2 cards, right, with this, and then play my supporter, which I think I want to do, right? So I'm going to use this card, get 1, 2. Sure, I'll toss him in 2. I don't think he's of any help to me. No. I can't. It doesn't help me. So then I will play my switch. Send him up. I will... Oh, I could use Cram-o-matic, but I think I want to use Grant, right? Let me boost my damage. I like that. Play that down. Get 110, right? He's taking less damage this turn, but so, you know, the tricky thing is... All right, so I'm sorry. I'm only doing 110 or even less damage than that with because of, you know, he's going to use Goodra's attack, knock me out. All right, there's no Duraludon in the discard yet. He's, you know, they're really close to getting that though, right? So I'm not going to knock him out. So I think I want to force them to deal with the Mimikyu, and then I could potentially take them out the following turn. Do I have... What's the cross switch? Okay, I could... Do I want to switch into something and take somebody out here? Which I could also do, right? That's a risky play. I'm hoping to get... All right, so that's unfortunate. That's okay, though. Gonna play Pokestop. I'm liking Cross. I'd like to get... Okay, lost Peony. That's all right. What's in my prizes? Let's see. Cross Switchers there. Okay, so... Not great. Okay, so... I'll attach. I'll end turn. We'll see what happens. I took a risk that last turn. I probably played that last turn badly. Maybe should have played Capturing Aroma rather than discarding it with the Cram. Getting down a Growlithe into play could have been useful. At this point, can they get rid of that Duraludon, right? That's what have they pulled the Duraludon? I assume it was prized. They've taken 3 of their 6 prizes, so it's a 50-50 chance on whether they have it or not, so they could not damage me again. So now they're down to 2 prizes. They may have an Iona or something to get things back. Let's see. Do I have... So I should have 1 Growlithe in there. So I want to get that Growlithe down on the bench. And just take a look at what else is here. No supporters. No Pal Pad. Okay. So I will end turn, which is fine. So down to one card in deck. Obviously, they could draw next turn. They could play Iono or Judge and extend things for sure. So they're thinning their hand. What did they get rid of? Well, that's what I care about. They got rid of a Squawk ability and a Noivern. So I can't damage them now. Okay. That's with Noivern, if they use Noivern, because I'm an evolution attacker, so that's okay too. So they've extended the game. All right, so now I can put my Pokemon back in my deck though, right? So I think I just want to do that, right? Yeah. I'll play this. It lets them know that they're not going to deck me out. Right? Now they know I have more cards in deck. So that's the goal there. And end turn. If it comes to a deck out game, I'm going to win under these conditions. So the goal wasn't to win with Mimikyu. Obviously, it's in the deck as an alternate win condition. We'll see what they can do. I assume that Duraludon's prized. I shouldn't have benched that other Growlithe, should I? Because now I could lose the game. I do realize that now. That was definitely a mistake. They're partly doing this to reduce their damage. That was a mistake on my part. I probably... You may have saw that too, right? I wasn't paying attention. Then you take 3 prizes. I have 3 Pokemon in play now that aren't immune to their attacks. So we'll see what happens. They're going to have to gust me up, though, to take another prize. And let's take a look at what's their boss situation? Just 1 boss? And they played a rope. I mean, I assume they would have used it before this if they had it. So, end turn. If they Iono again, well, it comes pretty close, though. I have more prize cards remaining, so I will draw more cards with Iono. They have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I both have 6. I think they'll duck out one turn earlier. I think it's really close though. Honestly, I don't know that they have any way to win the game. I mean, they're not conceding, which is fine. I'm not going to draw a card because I think I'm within a card of decking out first if they have Iono. If they have multiple Ionos, then with 2 Ionos, I would deck out first. So we'll see what happens. At this point, it's just a waiting game. It's not very exciting, I got to say. Right, if they had Duraludon VMAX, they should have gotten into the discard pile by now. Right? I assume they have ways to discard cards. Let's see, they played 3 Superior Energy Retrievals. They might not play more of that. They played 3 Ultra Balls. I assume they play more Ultra Balls. I bumped their Poké Stop, which of course would be another way to discard. So it's possible that I've gotten rid of their discarding options too. It's possible they're out of discard options. And if they can't get, Duraludon VMAX in hand doesn't help them if they can't get it into the discard pile. So they're just keeping their immunity going. So I'm just going to keep ending turn here, seeing what happens. So, when you get in this type of situation, it's not real fun. So they just passed. We'll see what happens here. So can they, if they pass, so they're Ionoing again. They may have one more Iono, in which case that would, so I'm 2 more cards in deck. So there we go. So got the win. Not the prettiest win in the world, I got to say. Not winning the way we'd like to with the deck, but it is definitely a solid deck, something to give consideration to. I do think it is fun to play. Again, I do like decks with that energy. If you're familiar with my cast form, trying out obviously hasn't been very successful. This deck is definitely a better attacker than that and easier to set up. All right, so try another game here. We'll see how this game goes. If it goes well, I'll keep it in the video. If it's not good gameplay, I will probably just chop it off. That's why I kind of did a soft wrap up at the end of the previous game, letting you see behind the curtain here. All right, so I had to take a mulligan. They see what I'm playing. So Psychic deck. Okay, we'll see what's what here. Had to adjust my headphones there, so hopefully the volume didn't change too much with that process. I'm not going to mess with the levels. Seems close. If you need to adjust it on your speaker, then go ahead. It should be stable. So how many? So, all right. So playing Growlithe. Have 2 cross switchers, which is nice. I hate to get rid of the 2 cross switchers, though. I'm trying to remember the rules on cross switcher. I believe I can use it as long as my opponent has something on the bench. I think I can use it even if I don't have something on the bench. And just use it like a boss, right? Because I have Peony, I would love to use the cross switcher. I don't really want to discard 2 cross switchers without using them because it really is a terrific card. The downside is you need 2 of them. Can you get them reliably into hand? For the most part, you cannot. Obviously, Peony in this deck does allow for that. Of course, you're using your supporter for turn with Peony to get the cross switchers. Although for this deck, that's actually a good thing because we want to get down to that 0-size hand with Arcanine. For Hisuian Arcanine, most decks do not like 0-size size hands. Okay. So, okay, what do I want to do here? So I think I want to Do I want to gust something up? I think I will wait. I'm going to end turn, just pass. I could have cross switchered, but I don't really know that I'm overly worried. I mean, they'll do 30 damage to me. They don't knock me out. So Gapejaw Bog, not surprised by that play. Deancey. The nice thing is Deancey means I can't use a supporter to switch them, but since this deck plays Cross Switcher, I can switch them up with Cross Switcher to something I want to hit into. So I am, with the cards in hand, I can take the knockout. Let's see what they send up. I think they're weak to me, so I'm pretty sure I want to Cross Switcher up the Zoroark. He's got the energy on it, so take him out. He's got gift energy, so we'll draw to 7. That's the downside. But you know what? So I think I just want a Peony here. Let's just take a peek. Yeah, I'm going to Peony because I have to Peony, and then I need to get... I need another Pokemon into play, though. So, right, so I probably want... Maybe I just grab 2 Nest Balls, then? Yeah, Nest Ball is great because I don't take damage from it, either. So, all right, this is good. That's right, because Gapejaw Bog, I really don't want to be taking damage unnecessarily. So, Growlithe, let's see. Okay, and I have my Radiant Venusaur, and I do have, and Mimikyu can become useful in this matchup, for sure. But let me get my pieces that I really want set up, and I have a nice turn, take knockout. Obviously, fighting type is a nice type to be, so they draw a bunch of cards. That's okay. Yeah, I could have gusted up the one without the gift energy. All right, Grant's not bad. I could play the Grant. Okay, that's nice, too. I can get the Mimikyu down with the Nest Ball, because I think I do want Mimikyu into play also. So Klefki, which is fine, shuts down my ability, so I don't draw with Radiant Venusaur. So they can hit me with Zoroark, and then they'll switch into him. And that's okay. There's worse things in the world that they could do. So not bad. Let's see what happens. So are they going to get the V-Star and knock me out? They could. They are. Now, it means they don't draw those extra cards, though, right? So we'll see what happens. I mean, they're going to blow me up, I assume, easily knock me out. Yeah, that makes sense there. With the damage moving and such, they will start to get through my Mimikyu, right? Because his HP is not that big, so I don't love him as a Pokemon. So the problem, I don't really have much I can do this turn, do I? So that doesn't really help me. So I think I want to Nest Ball something. Yeah, I think the Mimikyu's too weak, right? I could use him late in the game, but I don't want to start using him early because they can move damage onto me. They can attack with Diancie. They have, those little annoying things. So I could play the Grant, which would allow me to draw it at a later turn, right? Maybe I want to boss them, though, huh? Let me boss somebody up here. What's the answer? So if I boss up the Mimikyu, I'm going to play Grant. I don't know. I was really waffling on that one. The reason I played Grant is I would have loved to hit heads, of course, because then I would have been immune to damage. Manaphy, which isn't useful for this matchup, I don't believe. I really wanted heads. That was a unfortunate failure there. The advantage, the reason I played Grant, and sorry, I didn't talk about it. I was really trying to think it through. I could have gusted something up just to make their life a little difficult. I don't think that's really what I needed, though. The game's not going great for me. I think it's fair to say that. You know, with Old Cemetery, they get damage on themselves when they attach energy, so they have damage all around, which they want. Okay. So, you know, this is not a great spot for me. I think it's fair to say. Obviously, the lack of an engine with the deck is really causing me trouble, too. So they're going to knock me out. This game had some promise early on. It's gone in a bad direction. All right, well, Super Rod's not bad, right? I do need Pokemon, so I think... So let me toss down my Super Rod. I need Pokemon, so get those in deck. All right, I'm going to toss down Manaphy just because things are just gone so the wrong way for me. I'm just trying to cause some trouble here. It's not good, right? I'm in a bad spot. I think just it makes them have a switch card or attach an energy. I needed to hit heads, so that's back-to-back tails. I mean, look, it's not like it's some crazy unlucky thing. Back-to-back tails will happen. Like, I want to draw cards. So, all right, got a basic down. That's good. I would like to have him down last turn. I haven't gotten really. I attacked once, which is for knockout. They're weak to me, right? So that's the good thing going. I'm just not getting the pieces to set up that I needed, though. Okay, well, I mean, that's kind of nice, though. So their ability, what's the ability to do? Again, it's like a free research, right? Yeah, it's a research. If it's not free, it uses their V-Star power. So, can I win at some point with the Mimikyu? Which I might need to. So I have I need to hit Capturing Aroma needs to come up the way I want it to. That's one thing is a given. I need Capturing Aroma to come up heads, and it came up tails. So every coin flip's going the wrong way for me. So I think at this point, I'm benching Mimikyu. I'm gonna need to play this. He gets damaged. I don't like that, but Mimikyu. I'll send up Mimikyu. I don't think it's much of an issue for my opponent though, because they have these damage counters to move 2 per turn. So in a couple turns, they're going to knock out my Mimikyu. The one thing it does, it gives me an opportunity to hopefully, if it takes them a couple turns, it gives me the chance to set up an Arcanine. So they're going to take me out with their Mimikyu, right? Yeah, so good play there. Yeah, you know, that was the right play for sure. A simple play from their standpoint. This game's gone. I didn't think I could make that work, so I have a Peony. I don't really think I want the Growlithe in play because it's just going to get damaged. So let me pinch him. So let me think. Capturing Aroma. What's this? How big's my deck? 28 cards. So I just need head. I need 1 out of 2 to come up heads for me. I think those odds are better on Capturing Aroma than Great Ball. That's what I was trying to think. I could have grabbed 2 Great Ball. I could have grabbed 2 Capturing Aroma. I could have done 2 of each. I mean, 1 of each, obviously, but whichever one gives me the better odds is the one I want to go with. I do want heads here again. Let's see. I finally got some coin flips my way. Unfortunately, these are too late in the game. This is where the odds, in a sense, are evening out for me, but timing, sequencing is a real factor too. And of course, I don't draw cards into hand, so it just makes this next turn more difficult also. A Great Ball, at least this is a playable one. I can toss it away. So, you know, they should win this game, but we'll see. Have a bit of a chance. I need to take a knockout this turn, and then I can knock out the Zoroark one, but I played my boss, right? Yeah, I played my boss. I do have okay, my Pal Pad's gone too, so I cannot gust up him, and I don't think I have, I had 3 cross switches there, so I cannot do any gusting this game. I probably can switch still. Let's see. I'm down to 1 switch card, so I'm kind of put myself in an awkward spot here for sure. But we'll see what happens, right? These games, honestly, with Hisuian Arcanine, they're a little bit tedious, I will say, because it's single prize stuff. So what's his attack do? Okay. So that's... We'll see. Obviously, it depends what I top deck. See what my opponent does. So I need to be able to attack and take a knockout here. They probably just win with the next 2 turns, but we'll see what happens. You know, I do one-shot the Zoroark, so that's a concern for them. Of course, they don't know my exact 60, so they don't know that I'm out of gusting options and such. So we'll see what happens here. So I was a little slow too, so I won't be too critical of my opponent here. I would like to see them start to get a move on here. We're kind of into the middle of the game. We should have a good idea of what our plays are, but let's see. Great Ball, that's good. So this gives me knockout, right? 160, and they resist. So I get more than what I need. So that's okay. Failed, and I need to fail this Great Ball. Can't play him, so that's okay. So I do the damage I need. So that gives me hope, right? Gives me hope, because now Cram-o-matic, so that means I can so that's a nice card to get, right? Maybe. I mean, I need an item to be able to get rid of it. Most of my cards are items. You know, if I were to top deck a Pokemon, then I can't get rid of it. If I top deck a Stadium, I can't get rid of it. All right, well, it comes down to what I top deck here, right? So that was I guess they didn't really feel that they had another play there. So can I get rid of empty my hand? It all comes down to this. And I cannot do that. That is disaster. 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 So I can do that, but I can't get rid of Cram-o-matic. The tool rule, the change of tools to not be an item, cost me the game there. Quite frankly, that's the reality. If that tool was an item, which it used to be, right, then I could have crammed it away. I would have won. So there we go. So you see a game. So that change in the tool rule does matter, right? It hurt Cram, which we know, and hurt this deck for sure, because I don't even care what I flipped on Cram. I just needed to get rid of the card, and I had game. So a close game. Close game. You can see the deck doing what it wants with the attacking, right? Pretty good numbers. It was a tricky matchup for me, and really close. Was a card away from pulling off victory, but it didn't happen. So, but give the deck a shot. It can win through stalling, Mimikyu, just not letting your opponent get going. It can win through taking prizes or lose. It lost that game. Yes, I grant you that. But it could have won that game, and it's won a fair amount of games. The deck has been pretty successful. It is fun. I do like cards that do things like attack for no energy, and 160 on a stage one single prizer for no energy is a solid number. It's not that hard to set up. It's worth giving a try, and I think it is a lot of fun. Take care.